I can show you the world, shining, shimmering, splendid. Tell me, Florida, now when did you last let your brain decide? They opened Disney World, a dazzling place to catch the flu. No one to tell you no or where to go. Now I got coronavirus with you. Hey, Florida, where do you go? Ladies and gentlemen, weird times we live in. Strange times, awkward times, uncomfortable times. Just the times. It almost feels like we're living in the Bible age, you know? Like, sometimes I think I manifested this world that we're living in, because your boy has always fantasized about living in the apocalypse, you know? Half the time when I'm working out, I'm thinking about the apocalypse. I'm like, okay, someone runs through here. I got to be ready. So I'm doing all these kettlebell swings, just imagining that I'm being attacked by 30-pound babies, just tossing them up and down all over the place. Just whew. When I do a kettlebell thing, I'm launching a baby over my back on the neighbor's roof, you know, just ready for when the babies attack. I don't know. It's probably a weird fear of being a parent. I don't know. These are just dreams I have. But sometimes I feel like I manifested this because it's like everybody thinks they want to live through an important time in history until you gotta live through an important time in history. People always think, wow, Rome, the gladiators, just all the philosophers that were fucking little boys at that time. I don't know. Sometimes it's crazy to me that when you think about some of these philosophers we look up to and quote, they had little boys in their bed while they were thinking that shit. They were fucking looking over and just having little Jimmy. That just got so ridiculous. I'm sorry. I got to get back to the bit though. Little Jimmy proofreading their quotes that they're about to like cement in history. A little 6-year-old boy is just yeah, that sounds pretty good, I guess. God, that is fucked up. All right, listen. That's going to get me canceled. Anyway, I'm just kidding, but this is real shit that happened. It's so weird. History is so weird. That's what I'm talking about. And it was fucked up. I do not support what those philosophers did. And I don't even quote Aristotle and Plato and all these great minds that everybody likes to quote. How dare you? Shame on you guys for making me do that, to bring that to light. I didn't enjoy that. Speaking of segue, little kid, this post going on in the internet, this little boy, he got something like 39 stitches trying to protect his sister from this dog. Shout out to this little boy, a saint of a brother who he fought a dog. And he thought, and this is the thing, it gets a little hazy because it's the parents putting out this post. It said, I just figured if someone had to die, it should be me. And you don't know if the little kid ever actually said that, but it was a badass move, and you could see the scars on his face that he did try to protect his sister. It always gets strange to me when you see a parent, like that's the thing is I'm not for Instagram accounts for kids and parents who really post a lot of shit about their kids. It was like this huge thing put in the post, and they're like, hey, maybe the other Avengers could reach out to let me know that I'm an Avenger, you know, and then tagged like Thor and Spider-Man and Captain America and all these celebrity heroes. And I get it. It'd be cool. But it's like, you know, when you're like about to do something for someone, but then they like asked you in a weird way to do it. So you're like, I don't really want to do it now that you've kind of asked me to do it. Yeah, that's what it felt like. It felt a little cheesy. Like, it's like they peed in the pool a little bit, you know, you're like, yeah, this is great. This is a beautiful story, but you kind of peed in the pool right now and I'm swimming in it. You know, I don't want to play Marco Polo cause I get a lot of water in my mouth. I don't know what's up with us today, guys. But it was a beautiful story. And, A lot of people shared it, and it's inspirational. And what's crazy about it is that little kid has more balls than most adults. And shout out to that little kid, little sheepdog, just fucking ready. It's interesting. I opened up with a Florida song because I just saw a fellow comedian's post that Disney World is open and like all the rides, and they had posted a picture of a story. They posted a story of a picture. They weren't there, of what it looked like in Space Mountain, like the line. And I was like, wait, is this real? She said, yeah, it's real. Insanity, straight insanity. Like literally people just huddled together in this little hallway. Just tons of people, just coronavirus, jacking off in the corner, getting ready, just salivating. Okay, just can't wait to get inside you, like 7 minutes in Evan. Boom. Bars. It's kind of crazy. It's crazy to see the flip-flop of people's opinions and beliefs about coronavirus. Like that's the thing that it almost baffles me when you see people try to break down the ineffectiveness of masks, and they put like these oxygen testers in these masks. And I was like thinking about that because I saw a guy, he like tried to debunk how oxygen masks were, or face masks were making it so people couldn't breathe anymore. And he was putting a little oxygen sensor inside the mask and having the person wear it. Hey, fuckface, you breathe in and pull the oxygen through it. So if they're just there, it's in the mask, it's not going to pull any air through. And if you had any half of a brain with how pulse oximeters, I don't have an idea because I can't even say the word oximeters, like they use in hospitals to actually check your oxygen levels, you would understand that that's not a good read, that you put an oximeter on people and you can actually see that it doesn't really affect their oxygen levels. So there's bullshit with the mask with an oxygen sensor within it. It's complete bullshit. And it's just crazy. People want to believe conspiracies so bad. And I almost don't understand it because I'm like, where is this coming from? Why do you want this to be true so bad? Like some people, it's almost like the self-fulfilling prophecy of self-sabotage or something like that is like, I think a lot of people, if they found out that the situation that they're in and the reason why they can't do certain things is because of themselves, it would break their heart. So a lot of people want to be like, yeah, of course, this freaking government, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, they were just doing this. And all the like the issues with the face mask and the people don't want to believe things like the CDC. And I've talked about it before about how, sorry, I got a little front wedgie, you know what I'm saying? Anyway, bars, back to it. People don't want to believe CDC, and for a good reason. You know, they fucked up, they fumbled some shit, but guess what? I'm still going to go with health experts over some dude on Instagram just breaking down conspiracy videos and talking about this and that. Like, people are more likely, for some reason, just to believe some video with like creepy sci-fi music and big bold red letters. You can't not use the impact font. You can't not use that red hot color, red, rojo, fire, fuego text on there, because you really got to scare people. So it's literally, you guys, it's so ironic because a lot of people like to make videos and try to call out the media for fear, but then they're making these spooky videos to like talk about how the media is, you know, trying to use fear and all these numbers and inflation. Dude, there has to be some base of evidence in your claims. It can't be analysis of articles, and it can't be like, in 1807, I knew a friend who saw a pigeon that saw a canary eat someone's cat. That cat regurgitated it, and then that canary ate babies and blah, 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 and then told the neighbor that they did it on purpose. That was a rabbit hole that had no facts in it. We lost all credibility with that one. Went down a rabbit hole, thought I could get out, got lost, suffocated. Anyway, it feels like people just want things to be true so bad. For some reason, I don't get it. I don't want the government to be this crazy, dark conspiracy thing. And to be honest, I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I've worked in government. I'm not a government shill. Let me rephrase that. I've worked in government settings where work in construction with government contracts and everything like that, where I had to deal with a lot of like the top government sectors of like NASA and shit, and seeing how poorly they were ran. A lot of people think that there's some super genius mastermind insidious thing going on, but it might just be the regular people that are opportunistic and not good at their job, and they fumble just like everyday people. It's pretty funny to me because you think there's all these really dark, evil things going on. And I think it's mainly people just projecting their own fears and beliefs about what they think the opposition is. Like when you think, I could give any political example, but I don't really want to talk politics anymore. What I want to kind of talk about is, it's interesting because I put out, and maybe I talked about this already on the last podcast, but I talked about Goya. But the pushback that people had with it and getting upset and still wanting me to not eat Goya. And just a lot of the stuff that goes on. The idea, like I feel like at our core, we have to stop telling people that if they support a certain thing, that they support racists, that they support kids in cages, that they support this and that, because it's all hypocrisy. It really is, because you have zero evidence that no one on your political side or beliefs has never done anything like that, isn't a bad person. Like the whole thing with ICE, when it starts getting political and people are saying, if you support Trump, you support kids in cages, you're racist if you support this, and Goya now I got called a racist and all this stuff, and that I was applauding Satan. People wrote that shit. Listen, all this ICE stuff was going on during the Obama administration. I think Obama actually put more kids in cages than Trump has. You go look at the numbers at how many people were in the detainment centers. I know people are getting fired up right now. Triggered. Trigger warning. Trigger. But the point I'm going to make is that it doesn't matter who put more in or who did this or that. Is it bad? Yeah, we should always keep trying to fix ourselves and figure out a smarter, more efficient, more humanitarian approach to dealing with these really complex situations. I think we look at really complex issues and apply a simple variable solution to it. And this whole, if A equals B, then B equals C. But a lot of you motherfuckers are out here going, if A equals B, then B equals xenophobia. Bars, you know? It's like, I feel, and this is why I did the Goya video, and this is why I stick to these ideas of freedom of speech. And listen, I love a lot of people who have different views than me, who believe conspiracies, who believe, that support Trump, that hate Trump, that love Obama, that hate Obama. Yeah, I have to keep bringing up Obama because everybody keeps bringing this up. What I'm saying is that, like, as long as you're a good person, I love you. You know, I don't have an issue with anybody who believes something different than me, and I don't have to feel like I'm constantly right in these situations, you know. And people get to conclusions at different points in their life and different points of their life, but also they have to take their own path of understanding, and they have to do their own thing and understand it. And hey, maybe they'll never get there, but that's not your responsibility to shame or guilt them along the way. And it's important for us to protect freedom of speech and freedom of choice and the freedom of thought. What you guys don't realize is a lot of this stuff with cancel culture and labeling people as racist or xenophobic, or whatever you want to call it, because they support something. You have no idea their mindset of why they make those choices. By you labeling them and shaming them and guilting them and telling them they support this devil, you're basically not giving them an opportunity to defend themselves. You're treating them with inequality. And why would they ever want to try to meet you with understanding and actually get to a place where they can maybe hear your side if the conversation starts like that? Because I'll tell you right now, if someone accused me of being racist or not caring about kids in cages and stuff like that, the last thing I'm going to do is accept what they're saying about me, because I know that's not true. And I'm not even going to sit down for a conversation on why my beliefs could possibly be wrong, because I'm like, oh, they're not using logic right now of why I feel this way. So therefore, they live in an imaginary world where cartoons run around, and, you know, people in Florida go to Disney World and think that coronavirus isn't real. Bars. So I just really feel like a huge thing, and this is me as an advocate for comedy and freedom of speech and just freedom of choice. That's what America is supposed to be back. And I think that's what humans should be about. I'm tired of this whole keep talking about America, because it's almost got this bad connotation to it now. But I feel like just being good people, we should be able to understand other people and why they have different choices. And they have a whole world of different experiences that maybe got them to that point. And you don't know that. You don't know that. But one thing I am kind of happy about, and this is something that I don't want to say I predicted. I don't want to say I'm like Miss Cleo or something, or Nostradamus. You said that, not me. But the eating of the tail has begun. Cancel culture is turning on itself. Okay, listen. This was what's going to happen, is it's going to back itself in a corner, and it's not going to know what to do, and it's going to need to feed, because guess what? When you create a monster, it's got to feed. You ever see someone turn into a werewolf in a movie? I know you feel like a werewolf just entered the room. I should be doing horror movie voiceover work. Bars. It's got to eat, and cancel culture has turned on itself. The cycle continues, and this is what I've been saying, is that eventually, where does this go? It's not going to stop, and you're going to start eating your own tail, because there's now all these super liberal people starting to get attacked by the left for like, it's all fun and games until cancel culture comes for you. And this is a big issue. I saw that Chrissy Teigen, I only know her because of John Legend. Listen, John Legend can sing a fucking song. And I give you all of me. She started falling to this, and it's like, this is all rooted in the same thing that I started with, the freedom of speech and the freedom of choice, and the importance of looking at evidence and not just this clickbait article shit. Because there was a thing that Chrissy Teigen, for some reason, was on the flight log for Epstein. Whether this is true or not, it doesn't matter. It's out there. It's in the article. And the current state of media and culture we've created is we don't do any research. We just look at a title. Most times people don't even read the whole article. They just look at the headline and go, oh shit, Chrissy Teigen went to Epstein Island, and she's somehow part of this Hollywood inside blah, blah, blah thing. And now people are calling for her kids to be taken from her. And it's so ridiculous. And it gets back to my point when I say, if A equals B, then B equals xenophobia. Okay. And what that means, if I have to break that down for you, is that if A equals B, then B equals Z. That means, oh, if there's any connection, devil, canceled. It's the same thing with this Goya, Trump, canceled. If there's any kind of connection to anything, canceled. And it's just gotten too bad. It's too far. And Chrissy Teigen went and like, I think that's her name. She went and deleted something like, which is kind of weird, something like over 60,000 tweets in one day. And I'm just like, wait, what? And I guess she came out and defended it, saying that she was just trying to protect her family. Listen, I understand that completely. And if I was in her position, I would have never had my family and pictures of kids and all that even on the internet. Like, I keep my private life kind of private just because I'm like, hey, the internet's a weird place and it's just easier for me to maintain it like that. But you shouldn't be putting your kids all over the internet. You shouldn't be, if you're in that kind of situation, like, this is the downside to being in that Hollywood world. And I think this is a thing because she's been pretty outspoken about cancel culture and super virtue signaling and everything like that, where it's like, it's turning on itself. People don't care. They just want to tear people's character down. They don't want to look at what you've done, because I'm sure she's done some great things, and like, I'm sure she's not a terrible person. I'm sure she's a good mom. I'm sure that she tries to do good things, but for some reason, this connection, even at all, even if it is just a headline connected to Epstein, has ruined her. And we cancel people, like we take away the idea of being innocent until proven guilty at all. There's no system of justice. It is all, you're guilty. It's not even guilty until proven innocent. It's just you're fucking guilty. We don't give a shit. We're not going to come back and check and then apologize and then things can go back to the way they are before. No. I think in some of these situations, people have to be, there has to be repercussions for people's actions. But what's interesting about it is people also like the cancel culture until it comes for them. And then they throw a fit because Chrissy Teigen sent out a thing to Twitter. And she was like, if this is the kind of harassment that's going on Twitter, I'm going to leave. Okay, go ahead and leave. But Twitter, you created this world. Listen, if I'm feeling too happy and good about myself, I'll go read some comments on Twitter. Okay? You want to see the toxic levels of human nature? Go read the comments on Twitter, the profiles that don't have a picture. They're some of the darkest individuals we have in this known universe. I feel like people shouldn't even be on Twitter. Listen, I think on Instagram, like, that's the thing, is it's hard to say it shouldn't be there because it's all free, all freedom. But there has to be some kind of repercussion, because whether, you like to look at the internet as not a real world, it has real world effects on people. And I think we have to try harder to like have accountability for some of these things that people say, and these threats and these death threats. And I don't know how we would do that. But by creating, I don't even know. If I had to really try to figure out just on a whim of how we should control the internet in the sense of these people that make death threats and all stuff like that, because you can't make a death threat to someone in public. I think we should apply some of the same laws that we apply in person to the internet. You tell someone, hey, I'm going to fucking kill your kid. You couldn't say that in public. There has to be some link to be able to make a Twitter profile, make a Facebook. Everything should be connected. I know I sound like the government. There's going to be all these conspiracies that I work for the government now. But we need some kind of thing attached to people where even if it's just we have verification that this is this particular person. I don't know if people should be allowed to be anonymous on the internet. I get that a lot of their private data should be protected, but to be able to sign up and to create an account and all this stuff, you should have to verify who you actually are. And you have to represent that person on the internet. And guess what? You fuck that up. You say you're going to kill someone's kids or you're going to kidnap them, throw them in a lake. You probably shouldn't you lose your account. You're just not allowed to play the game anymore. And it's not suppression of free speech when you're doing that, because it's literally protection of the greater good. And people are going to be like, wow, you sound like Nazi Germany. Because you know how everybody loves to take one quote that Nazi Germany said, for the greater good, and apply it to anything that they think is like communistic. But I really do think there should be repercussions. And I think we don't let people threaten people in real life and even be a disturbance in public. And I think there's, if anything we've learned through the past like 10 to 15 years is that cyberbullying and all of that is real. And it has an effect, you know. It really does have an effect, especially on younger people. I think that, you know, that's why I look at comments that if they're directed towards me, just a fucking duck, just water off my back. You know, I don't read into them. And I just like laugh. And I'm like, okay. A lot of them I don't even respond. But I know for a kid who's like 16, 15 on TikTok, they have to be dealing with the weirdest shit. And they don't have the balance and the wherewithal to understand what is making this person do this. I know when people leave bad comments and just try to hurt you online, it's a cry for help. It's them sad about their own life and everything. And I look at them with pity. But these kids that are 15, 16 years old, they don't understand that yet. They don't understand why people would do that. And it's sad when you hear about people taking their own life because of it. Another person that got canceled. Are these getting too dark for you guys, these podcasts? Listen, comedy's out the goddamn window, okay? Welcome to the revolution. Nick Cannon got canceled, and you know what? Good. Fuck him. Good riddance. Drumline was hot though. Shout out to Drumline. I fucked with that movie. Just getting on there with the little fucking drum when you start playing on the other drummers shit. Ba 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 ba. You don't never hit someone else's drum, you know? Fucking little drummer boy. Rum bum bum bum. Shit was tight. But Wild 'N Out, terrible show. Never liked it. It was so ridiculous. But he went after Eminem and all this stuff. And then that's when I started being like, oh, Nick Cannon's kind of a dark dude. He really tried to attack Eminem with his, I forgot what it was. He did a couple diss songs towards Eminem. And I forgot what book he was reading in the music video, but it was a pretty racial book, pretty dividing book. I can't think of the name of it, but it was basically talking about how white people are inferior and that the reason why they did everything in the past was because of their inferiority, and they knew that black people were so much better and all this stuff, and really was like dividing and like a lot of hate speech. And I felt like that was dangerous. I'm just like, I don't know if this is the right look, you know. And he kept talking about how Eminem was in our culture and blah blah blah, and that he needed to leave. I was like, did you just invoke segregation on Eminem and hip hop? Okay. His name's Eminem. He's so good at rhyming. His name rhymes with itself. M and M. Bars. But that's when I started looking at it like, oh man, that's a little dark. But he got canceled for some shit, and this is what's kind of interesting is there's a lot of, I think a NFL star got in trouble too. I don't know if he got cut, but like he was some anti-Semitic stuff where he was talking about the real chosen people, and then I forgot exactly. I shouldn't even be talking about this because I don't know all the facts. I admit it. But with the Nick Cannon issue, he had someone on his podcast, and he was talking about how the Jews were behind all of this stuff, from Rothschild to the Illuminati and all this stuff, and how the Jewish community owned the media. And he was very racist and like really attacking Jewish people, and that behind every great world violence, it was Jewish people. And then he got canceled. They took Wild 'N Out from him. And then when they cut ties with him, I think it was like CBS, he demanded an apology And they were like, and it's like, I don't like when this happens. He goes, they're just trying to publicly shame and quiet a young Negro so others won't get out of line. And then he demanded ownership of Wild 'N Out. First off, I'm like, dude, don't, like, that's like the whole, I don't know. It's always weird when people, you just got done saying about Jewish people and calling them out and saying that they're like the most violent people. And then you're like referring to yourself that they're doing this to you because you're a young Negro. And I'm just like, that's a weird word to use. And media is one of the most progressive things. I don't think that is the reason. I think it's because you said some pretty racial stuff and cancel culture came for you. You know, it's like you can't play that game and not expect to get burned. So I don't know. I think it's good in the sense that there should be no protection, in the sense of, like, you say some racial stuff, you can't be like, well, I shouldn't be canceled because I'm dealing with racial stuff as well. Like, you can't say these very racist stuff towards Jewish people and be like, no, but I've dealt with racial stuff too, so I'm good. This is immunity. It doesn't work like that. Like, you just say bad things, and that's what I like, is when you judge people on the content of their character. I know I've said that so many times in the podcast, but I feel like that's the big way to fix a lot of these issues, is like, we judge people on their actions and who they are as a person, not where they come from, because that's like the ultimate thing, is like, people who have came to this country and dealt with racial stuff, it was because we weren't judging them on their content, their character, but just their skin. Dude, my dad's told me stories about, you know, growing up in Puerto Rico and then moving to New York and then not speaking English, you know, when he first came here, and then a lot of the stuff that he dealt with, whether it was Italians or whatever nationality it was, they just didn't like that there was Puerto Ricans in the neighborhood. I don't know why. Great music, great food, but they weren't judged on their character. They were judged on their skin. And I think that's a way that we get past this. And that's why, like, with all of this stuff going on, all the racial tension, I've kind of I haven't understood it, because I don't judge people like that. I don't see color, is what I'm getting at. This is me virtue signaling in a weird way. Getting off topic. But with this Nick Cannon stuff, hey, Nick, this is why you don't have deals with these huge companies, these huge studios. You don't have ownership of Wild 'N Out. How do you not have ownership of it? What kind of deal did you sign that you gave up ownership of a show you supposedly created? How much money did they offer you to get that? If you're one of the highest rated shows of all time, you either, one, should be sitting pretty and not worried about it and can go create your own show, or two, you just didn't look at the paperwork and let them take it from you, or you didn't really create it. That's the other thing that it could be. Oh, we've been so dark this podcast. I'm sorry, guys. This is just, when I see these things, it just irks me. And I was talking to a buddy yesterday about freedom of speech and the issues that were going forward. And this is someone who's an educator in the college world, he's a college teacher. And I loved the conversation I had with him, and it gave me perspective, and it gave me faith back in humanity, in our future, because he talked about how his kids didn't even know what his political beliefs were, and he'd play devil's advocate and play both sides just to allow them to have freedom of speech and go back and forth with different ideas. And that's great. I think too many times you see, especially for a while in academia, you still see way too much liberal agenda, straight up. You see these professors and these teachers shaping these young minds in their own image, like putting their own beliefs and agenda on them. And then you see these kids in an unchecked world just swimming through a cesspool of ideology and beliefs that have no holding in the real world. So then once they overflow to the real world, it's met with such ferocity, bars, and it's just turmoil. And I think that's the state that we're going into right now. So this is why I've been so passionate about the freedom of speech, and we have to acknowledge, and I think it's important of each person to take that responsibility to stand up for what they believe in and to actually speak their mind. If you don't agree with the mob, you can say it. You don't have to. I'm not going to say your silence is violence. But I think it's important to at least have critical thinking before you just believe what the masses say. Do some research. Figure out what is reality. Give yourself some time to come up with your own ideology, your own idea on certain subjects. I think that's been pretty eye-opening because I looked at the way everything started, first with the pandemic. My belief system has changed a lot. As more facts come out, as more I observe more things happening, I change my stance on certain things. Some things stay the same. Some things change with evidence. The same thing with the George Floyd situation. The reaction to protests, the reaction to looting, the reaction to some of these movements and these virtue signaling that these companies are doing. My idea of all of it has changed constantly throughout this whole thing. And I think it's important to always reevaluate what your belief system is and have it change as new evidence comes in and have it change as new ideas and better ways of looking at things. There's a lot of stuff that I've backed off on with friends' arguments. There's been like, you know what? You changed my mind. You're right. And it's beautiful. I think that's one thing that we have to do is stop looking at politics as teams where we just have, this is my team, I'm a fucking Falcon, and that's your team, you're the fucking Raiders. And you know what? It feels like that's the world right now. And everybody's just fucking wasted outside of Buffalo Wild Wings after their team lost. That's the thing, is why this is so dangerous, is because both political sides, both teams lost the Super Bowl, and everybody's fucking wasted out in the parking lot. And then it's just like, their girl is trying to get them to go home. They're like, no, I ain't fucking going. No, you fucking leave. You never supported me anyway, bitch. You know, and everybody's just wasting. It feels like I'm just in the parking lot watching them. And I'm just like, fuck, this shit's about to pop the fuck off. And everybody else, and I'm like worried. And everybody else who's just watching has their fucking phone out. It's like, world star. And I'm just like, Jesus, this is going to be bad. And I'm like, can't we just all understand? We just want to watch a good game. Like it's all just football at the end of the day. Ridiculous. Speaking of ridiculous, segue, Ivanka Trump, she took a picture with a can of Goya, black beans, and she said, if it's Goya, it has to be good. And I look at this picture of her. I know she has never owned a can opener. Ivanka Trump has never even seen a can opener before. Okay? And the quote, it says, si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno. I read that as like the first day of Spanish 1 freshman year in high school level Spanish. Just, si es Goya, tiene que ser bueno. That's how I read it with Ivanka Trump. That can of beans lost 75% of its flavor the second she touched it. Just doesn't make any sense. It was a weird move. All right. Now, listen, this whole Goya thing should have just died out. Should have just died out. Let it go. Ivanka. Tatanka. That's such a weird name. Ivanka. It kind of sounds like, I bet he says it the same as he says China. Ivanka. What kind of name is that? Is that Russian? Shit. What is Trump's wife? She's something. She looks like her uncle is like a cat or something. She's got catty eyes. Bars. But other than that, I just want to end this on a good note. Listen, my life, doing great right now. Okay? Still got some work coming in. Listen, I never promote it, but if you ever need any video production, your boy's got it. Listen, I do a lot of things. I do graphic design, photography, video production. Everything's going good right now. I'm very surprised that during this pandemic, this is still up. But things are doing good. The gyms just shut back down. I know a lot of people are upset about that. Newsom, some call him the tyrannical leader, Newsom. But I just got a personal sauna. Holy shit, that shit's amazing. I love it. I overheated the first day, not gonna lie. I was in there for too long, and not only that, I didn't have my head sticking out of this one. I covered up the hole because I'm a man, and I stayed in there like a goddamn little hut. And I overheated. Your boy was on fire. Got out of it, walked around like I was wasted, had to get in the shower. Thought I was going to die. Thought I was having a heart attack. But I did it again the next day and felt phenomenal. Listen, you got to get some kind of normalcy in this quarantine style. And I know it's not a complete quarantine anymore. We're not at like this stay at home and shelter in place kind of thing. But it's still pretty close, and this has been going on for a long time. I think it's important. You guys got to get some normalcy. You have to force yourself to have routines, okay? I don't care if that's you wake up, you make your bed, you brush your teeth, you read a book, you journal, you do all that shit. You just have to stick to a schedule, stick to a routine. You got to do things that give you fulfillment. Because listen, I've even had moments of darkness during this pandemic. I don't know who hasn't, fucking robots. But the truth is you got to try to have some kind of normalcy, some kind of routine. And getting the personal sauna was a step in that direction for me. I always, before this pandemic, I would be in the sauna like 5-6 days a week, just talking to the fellas, just sweating it up. And I had to bring that back because it makes me feel so good mentally. Like I just feel at peace, and I don't know. It just helps so much with your mental attitude. And start doing some Wim Hof breathing with it. Oh, I stay. Fitness is my passion. So very excited about that. I've been wanting to put out videos of going through my routines to show you guys because I'm kind of a freak. I'll be honest with you guys. I'm kind of a freak. Straight up, super strict with my routines in the morning. My day is ran by checklists. Like I have a checklist every day that I make the night before of what I need to get done. And I try to stick to a schedule. And it's because if I didn't do that, I would have no structure. And without any structure, I'd be anxious. I wouldn't know what to do. I would just go through the motions, and I might be leaving out some very important stuff I had to do. And there's no real wasting time. I waste a lot of time playing Warzone. Listen, if you're on Call of Duty, you want a teammate, holla at your boy. Slide in my DMs with that Warzone gamer tag, and I might hit you up. Just know, I play for keeps. I'm actually not that good at the game. Fun fact, we'll end on this. Yesterday, I played with a porn star, Mia Malkova, I think her name is. Why am I saying I think her name is? I know who the fuck she is. It was actually just her actual name. Like the gamer tag was Mia Malkova. And at first I was like, wow, that's impressive that they actually got that name. And then I Googled it, and she actually has a Twitch channel and everything, and she actually plays. Listen, your boy froze up. We were doing a Warzone duo, and I just froze up. I played terrible. And I won in the gulag. She died, and I died trying to buy her back. Such a simp. Hashtag simp life, as the kids say. But I just thought that was crazy. I do like that. That's what the weirdest thing that has came out of this pandemic is the fact that I enjoy playing video games so much. I knew I had it in me. When I was younger, I played a lot of Counter-Strike. I played StarCraft, Warcraft, World of Warcraft. I played Diablo, and I played a lot. Dude, I'd waste an entire weekend just playing video games like Diablo. And I mean like the entire weekend, like where I would be going to bed at like 7 a.m. Ridiculous. Then sleep for like 2 hours and then start playing again. Ugh, crazy times. But I enjoy playing video games so much. I don't know why. I don't know what it does for me. It's just I like watching people play the video games. Like I'll get on there, shout out to Eric Griffin, but I'll watch him play Warzone with like Bobby Lee and stuff like that. It's just, I don't know, it's so weird that I would even enjoy just watching people play video games. So weird. And with that, I'm announcing my Twitch channel. I'm not really making a Twitch channel yet. Not making one yet. I would stream. I'm just really not good enough at the game, I think, to really stream. I have nothing to offer the world with my gaming abilities. Okay? But listen, we stay in a pandemic another couple months, or we stay in this, for a couple other months, you best believe your boy gonna hit them stream channels. You best believe. I've been trying to get the Puerto Rican Pigeon gamer tag. They won't give it to me. They won't, for some reason, let me have it, Doesn't work under their little rules and guidance. But we have another UFC tonight. Pretty excited about that. Fight night on a Wednesday. What is my birthday? Saturday, another fight night. And then, it's going to be great. It's going to be glorious. And with that, ladies and gentlemen, I'm sorry if I got dark on you guys. If it's too dark, if you enjoy the dark talk, let me know. If you don't, go fuck yourself, okay? Because we're in a pandemic. Life is dark. That's why I moved to the darker side of this video. And just remember, no matter what, stick to your routines, all right? Get a schedule. Get something that will give you normalcy in your life, okay? You got to have some normalcy. Go for a walk. Go for a little, drive up the coast. Go drive through Egypt. I don't give a shit. Just do something that helps you get back to feeling okay, all right? And remember, no matter what, at the end of the day, I still love you.